The Weekly Warp Pipe.
Hey, what's up, my Warp Pipers? Welcome back to another weekly Warp Pipe. On this week's episode, we're going to be ranking movies that came out in 1985. Not all of them, but most of them. Dave's got another awesome Name That Quote. See if me and Keith can get it. I don't know. And don't forget to stay to the end to check out The Wheel of Doom. So sit back, relax, enjoy some nostalgia, and let's jump in the Warp Pipe. Hey, it's good to be back, guys. We're switching it up this week with some movie stuff. I know we're mainly a video game podcast, and we love talking about video games, but movies it is. We had our homework cut out for us, huh?
We surely did.
Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt. I put you guys to work.
Dave put us, or we put him to work, essentially, of putting together a list for us. All these movies that came out in 1985. But we'll get to that later on in the episode. We'll jump into what we've been up to. Keith, what have you been doing?
Well, on the weekend, I was in the city. I did some filming. We did some game hunting. I actually picked up a couple of the Mario and Luigi
Okay.
games.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice.
I played
Oh.
Dream Team when it came out. I enjoyed that one.
I don't have either of these systems, so now I have to go hunting for systems. But I do have the Game Boy Advanced, and I did pick up the Game Boy Advance. My nephew has started to collect those games, so I figured I'd better play them, check them out.
Yeah.
So I did some game hunting for that. Worked, and now I'm sitting here. I watched some movie trailers and got caught up on some movie trailers a little later on, but that's about it.
Nice.
Okay. Pretty
Very
pretty
cool.
simple, quick and to the point. I will say I got inspired by you last week, Keith.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I reached out, and Sunday going to get tattoo.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I reached out to my tattoo artist. I was talking to the wife. I was like, "Hey, I got some stuff coming up. I'm going to be selling my laptop to get some extra money, and I will be getting a bonus from Costco. They give us a bonus, so I was like, I got some money coming in. I'd like to get my sleeve work done a little bit more." And she's like, "That's fine." So I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, just reaching out, seeing if you could fit me in." And he was like, "What are you doing Sunday?" I was like, "Geez, I thought it'd be months out. Like, figure
Right.
call ahead." He's like, "I'm off, but I'll come in." So I'm going there at 3:00. I don't know how long I'll be staying for the session, whether it be a few hours, because I mentioned on my sleeve here I have rupees here that are not colored in from Zelda. So we're
Yeah.
gonna do different color rupees, plus these like Mario coin stars. There's like a few of them here on my arm.
Nice.
So we're gonna fill those in. I got about, I think, 9 rupees, and whether he's gonna try to fill in any of the other tattoo stuff, we'll see. So Sunday we'll do that. You guys will get the update next week of with the tattoo arm. I'm unsure if I want to film it or not. I don't know, or just kind of hang out and chat with them. I could maybe do some shorts footage of it.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see
think
how
that's
it
a great
goes.
idea.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see that come together for you.
Yeah,
Like, fleshed out with, yeah, that'll be awesome.
You still got to get that big Metroid on his shoulder there.
I got. Oh God, let's see if he has time. Yeah, I have a
Take it off,
Metroid
Russ.
right
Take
here.
it off.
This is a family show.
You could kind of see it. That, or I was even going to maybe ask him if he wanted to. I have stars on my elbows that are just outlines. If he wanted to do, I was going to do the Mario star on the elbow. So, like, do you want to do the eyes like while I'm there, and we'll do the yellow like another session to kind of get that going.
Very nice.
So
Nice. That's
we'll
awesome.
see. I'm excited.
Well, sorry I inspired you to spend money.
That, and then I did look up. I'm hoping to get the camera you both guys have now, the DJ Osmo one. We have it at Costco for a pretty good bundle deal. I had went on Amazon and on DJ, their website, and it was still a better deal at Costco.
Yeah.
Is it for
Find
the what is it called? The
Creator bundle.
kit?
Right. Yes, it's that one.
Yeah.
And they have it for 500 at Costco. And I think it's
Wow.
6 on.
It's
their site.
$650. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get
Wow.
the tripod and the battery thing with it.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
should have went to Costco.
It's just, it's non-evasive, right? That's what I like about it, is it's tiny.
Yeah.
I'll walk into a store and I'll just be like, hey, can I film? And just give them one of these with it.
Right.
And
Right.
maybe I don't have my phone out. I don't have this, like, stand for my phone that I'm trying to use. It's just this little tiny thing. No one notices it, and you're fine. No one even cares that you're filming. Like, they don't
Yeah.
even look at you. But you get your phone out, you're doing something, everyone's looking at you,
Mhm.
right? "What's that? What
Or
are
a
you filming?"
DSLR, like,
Yeah.
on the tripod.
Right?
Oh, yeah, there it is,
Yeah, so
Dave's
it's
showing it off, yeah.
super
Tiny.
yeah,
Look at that.
super non-invasive, super easy to
And this is
use.
so Russ, just so you know, this right here as
Mhm.
is, this is with just using the internal battery,
Okay.
but the creator one comes with two actual additional ones that will, I guess, charge it.
Okay.
So you not only get
Comes up
that,
on the
but like
screen.
you get the big one,
Mhm.
and then you also get a smaller one. It's somewhere in here. Oh yeah, here it is. And you get a smaller one, right?
Okay.
So you attach that to the bottom. But honestly,
Plug one in.
I went to plug
David,
one
just
in.
plug one into the bottom, yep, and then
Yep.
it
So you
should light up on your screen, it'll tell you exactly what percentage. Spin it around,
oh, I don't know.
should pop. Oh, put the big one on.
Oh, put the big one on.
Yeah.
How much juice does it
How
have?
much juice
How
does
much
it
juice
have?
does it have? Because it'll tell
So
you, it tells you percent of each, like, of your handheld and of
it
your
does. I think it only does that when you plug it in, though. Oh, there you go. Handheld has 100%. So
yeah,
there you go. But
Nice.
yeah, you're gonna love it. It's so good.
yeah, they're awesome.
I
Yeah.
used it this weekend actually.
And the audio is how you guys just straight from the
No,
camera?
it comes with a mic.
It
Oh,
comes with a wireless, with a nice
wow.
little magnet on the back
Yeah.
that works really well, so you just
Whoa, wait a minute. It has a magnet?
magnet on, yeah, it's
Stop it.
probably in a little, it's in a
Stop it.
little tiny package. It'll be a little tiny package. So it's
Oh,
just
I didn't
magneted
open it then.
magneted right on there. You just
Oh,
Yeah,
I
plug
I've
gotta
in,
I've seen a lot
hmm.
of creators with that on there, so I was
just
curious with it.
filming away, filming away. You can use the internal mic. You can
Mhm.
actually make it if it wants to, if it's recording forward, backwards, or both. There's another cool feature that it comes with.
Right, because my only issue would be to using the mic. If you're at a convention, you get great audio for yourself, but then if the vendor's talking to you, you're barely
Yeah.
gonna
Mhm.
hear them, right?
Yeah, so if
So
you're not using the mic, you can, in your settings, you can make it so it's recording, the handheld itself is recording forward, backwards, or whichever direction. Just a swipe on it.
It's great.
okay.
It's great. And actually,
You will
funny
love it.
story, Russ. I got a text tonight from our friend Joe Shivi, and he just bought one because he saw that I
Wow.
bought one. So everyone's getting on the train.
Everyone's getting on the train.
When are we
I'm
gonna
a
get sponsored?
yeah, yeah, right,
Right?
right.
Pointy
Can
jack.
we hook them up as webcams so we could just use them for our show?
And you can hook them up as a webcam.
There you go. That'll be great.
Other
That's
than that,
cool.
I will say I just got announced as a special guest. I'll be going out to Arizona for Game On Expo. It's April, I think, 4th through the 6th. This will be first time I'm going to be at that convention. John Lester, Gamester 81, puts on that show, and I've known him for good many years. He's come out to Retro World Expo a few times, and I just recently had saw him at Retro Game Con in New York, and he asked if I'd like to come out. So I'm going to be doing a panel there. It's going to be like a DIY panel, me explaining how I do DIY with custom consoles, controllers, and all that jazz. And then, of course, I'll be making a video. Just me and the wife are going out. Gwen will be with grandma for those few days. So, and we're going to Vegas for 2 days before
Ooh,
the convention, and then we're going to drive over.
nice.
So it'll be a little fun little vacation coming up.
Nice. That's great. Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
no doubt. That's awesome.
I always get so scared to do panels by myself, right? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what if no one shows up? Am I, I'm not
I mean, do
popular
you
enough.
know
Not gonna
anybody
impress
going
anybody
that could?
then.
Yeah. Can you
Right.
can
Well,
you can you ask somebody to like sit up there with you?
I do know that John Riggs is going.
Perfect.
So I could maybe reach out to him, see if he wants to hang out, or at least go to the panel and support me. But I'll
I
do my
mean,
best to do some videos, like promo videos,
yeah.
just so I can tag um, Game On Expo in it, and if they can repost it, so then people know, like, oh, there's gonna be this panel. Maybe I'll go check it out. Like, I'm
Mhm.
definitely good with that. When Retro World was coming up, I was doing a ton of promotion for my panel because even with that, I don't know where the panel rooms are located at this expo, but at Retro World, you actually have to go up to the second floor. So a lot of
Right.
people don't know that. So then a lot
Wow.
of people don't show up. So
Mhm.
hopefully these aren't another building or something. We'll see. I'm
Right
sure
on.
it'll be fine. I'll have a good time meeting some people. And my buddy Retro Rick reached out to me. We're trying to see if I can get out there for Retro Fest. Me and
Oh,
it's in the works.
Perfect.
See if we can make it happen. So we'll keep you guys posted on that.
That's
nice.
great. Congratulations. That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
What about you,
And you
Dave?
could always ask John Riggs too, because John Riggs does DIY as well.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go.
Perfect.
What have I been up to? So I went to a show. I went to a Toy Con, Comic Con and Toy Con that was up in Massachusetts. I went with my buddy Cruz and DMAC, who they both are on Instagram, and just did a little bit of toy hunting. I brought the camera, shot some stuff, so we'll see how that footage goes. I looked at it briefly a little bit today, and it looks great. It looks really good. The sound from the mic is really good. So I'm excited to kind of get more into things. So I've been getting into that. But also one thing that I picked up that I know you guys are gonna love is I think we talked about this. Was it last week or the week before? But I found a promo button.
Okay.
Ready for this? Look at that.
Monster Squad.
Ooh.
Nice.
So this is a movie promo button for when the movie came out. So I picked that up. It was like $15. Wouldn't pass that up. I didn't really buy much because I was I'm trying to save up for uh what is it? The Chicago Toy Show.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yeah,
gonna be a big one.
so I'm leaving for Chicago in April, the middle of April, and we're gonna be there for like 5 or 6 days doing some hunting with Edge Retro Geek Out, Narc,
Mhm.
Sprooch, uh, just all the guys. I know Pixel Dan I think is going, so should be a good time. Other than that,
Right.
that's what I've been up to. Oh, and then this Sunday I'm gonna
Mhm.
go see our buddy Tom Ryan. He's doing CT GamerCon up at Mohegan Sun. So I was able to fortunately get a couple of passes. So my buddy Tom, who does our website, is going to come along with me, and maybe we can create some content and see what the show's all about.
Nice.
That's it. That's what I'm up to.
Nice.
I will say I did
Awesome.
end up jumping on Disney Plus. I had some free time. The the wife went to bed early a few nights this week, so I'm going upstairs. I'm gonna watch some TV. Uh, so I did catch the Daredevil Born Again. There's 3 episodes up on Disney Plus. I did watch the original Daredevil show when it came on. This one's, I guess, another spin on it or something. It's kind of a continuation of the story, but I don't know if it's based on a comic, Born Again. I'm unsure. I
Okay.
mean, a lot went down in the first 3 episodes, so I'm excited to continue to watch that because they're dropping them weekly, so you can't just binge the
Hmm.
series right away.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, we're on season 3 of Dexter, so we're slowly going through that,
Nice.
and we'll be done with that. I'm not sure what show we'll move on next to that, but
Have you guys watched Reacher?
Reacher?
I've
Reacher?
seen like commercials and stuff for it.
It's
No.
awesome.
Yeah.
Totally awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it on
Yeah.
regular TV?
It is on, I think it's on Prime Video
Okay.
or Amazon Prime Video. It's super good. It's like season 3, and he's like a military MP. It's based on some books. There was the Jack Reacher movies with Tom
Tom
Cruise,
Cruise, right. That's what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay.
but Tom Cruise didn't really fit the description in the books of the
Oh,
character.
okay. Yeah.
But
This
the
guy's
actor
definitely
that they
more like
have, that Alan Richards or whatever, he's huge, and he fits the
Oh,
description of the
wow.
character in the book. It is
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really good.
That's the guy that plays Raphael in the Michael Bay
Yeah, it sure
movies,
is. Yeah,
the Michael Bay
yeah.
Turtle movies. Yep.
oh,
Super good.
cool.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
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 he's a big guy.
I seen clips come up like TikTok or whatever. I'm scrolling through and
yeah,
it's of that show, and I was like,
yeah.
I wonder if that
Super
has
good.
to do with the Jack Reacher. Like,
It is. Yeah, yeah. It's like
nice,
That's
right out of the
fun.
book, and each season is like out of the one of the books or whatever. It's super good. Very, very
nice.
good watch.
Cool. Nice.
I was gonna say I do want to try to catch. I also been seeing clips the new Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I didn't see
Pretty
that.
good. It is pretty good.
It looks like I'm like I got the wife was like not on board with like I started and she's like nope, and I was like all right, I'll watch it by myself. But it looks like he does it pretty good justice. And I was like, oh, I got to see this full movie now.
We'll get into this
There's-
later when we start talking about the movies, but I'm learning a lot about Keith this week. Keith is really into like action movies and like action sequences. Am
Okay.
I pretty accurate with that?
Yeah, I don't like horror movies, but I do like actions and comedies.
Yeah, because he gave us a list of the movies that he saw.
Right.
And when I saw the movies he saw,
You're
and
like,
now
oh,
he's
okay.
talking
Actions and
about Reacher
comedies.
and these other movies, like, wait a minute, there's something here to Keith. Like, I think he likes the like high adrenaline, like I get it.
Action
I get it now. Which
and
is kind of the
comedies.
opposite of
Go,
me.
go.
Yeah. But cool.
I dig
That
it.
sounds fun. You guys ready to get into the warp pipe rental?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're Pipe Rental. Let's see what game we picked this week and see what we thought of it. Russ, roll it.
Let's head to the video store, grab a game for the weekend. We have the box art and description to guide us when we're choosing what game to rent. So grab your rental card because this is the Warp Pipe Rental.
What game you rent for the weekend?
All right. So we ended up going handheld this weekend on the Game Boy. We got Castlevania, The Adventure on the original Game Boy. Now, just looking at this box art, epic, right? Great
Yeah.
box art. You got
Totally.
Dracula on the front cover right there with Simon with the whip and everything. I really enjoy it. I thought it stood out for sure with the box art and get you want to play it. You know, if you played the original NES game, you're like, all right, maybe I want some Castlevania on the go.
I mean, who would build a castle on the cliff like that? I don't know, but I get it. I get it.
That's
Didn't
true,
Ninja
that's
Gaiden
true.
do the same thing?
I
Probably,
mean,
There you
all
go.
those mad bosses, like I said, the same contractor.
right? There's only one entrance. They can get you in there, pigeonhole you in there.
Nice. So what did we think about it?
I'll
do you
go
think?
first. It
Go
was been
for
a
it.
while since I had played this one. And I will say probably back in the day, great for car trips because it's on the shorter side to get into it. But man, is it slow. It's if you're pacing from like the original game or even, you know, Simon's Quest and any of those, and then you go to this, I don't know if it was hardware limitations or what, but like just
Mhm.
the movement, right, is a lot slower. So the pace is just sometimes it feels like it's dragging. Music's great. And I
Yep.
do really love the atmosphere of it. I feel
Mhm.
like in the first game, right, you're in the castle the whole time on NES. And I really like the second game, Simon's Quest, where you're venturing outside, right? And that's what this game has. You're outside, you're going through, and I feel like that fits really well. You don't always have to be in the freaking castle if it's Castlevania, right? There's other
Mhm.
creepy spots like the woods and so I enjoyed that aspect of it. And a quick story, I remember distinctly playing this game growing up and maybe like one of the earliest scenes, like maybe the seventh screen, where you're climbing up those ropes, right? To go like, and the eyeballs are coming down the stairs, and you're climbing up the ropes. There's there's one towards the end. If you keep climbing, you actually go through the bricks, and you
Mhm.
go to a secret level. And I remember writing in to like Nintendo Power to be like, this is a secret. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I discovered this. I don't think
How
anything
was
came
it?
of it, but
Was it a secret level? Because I remember one that you go up the rope, you go through the roof,
okay.
and you get like there's candles, and you break the
Yes,
candles.
that's what I'm
Is
talking
that the
about.
same one? You get a
Yes.
1-up, you get a power up, and then some other things.
Right.
But yeah. Did they have secrets like that in the other Castlevanias? I mean, I don't recall.
Like, going through walls like that, no, I don't think there was ever anything like that. I mean, there were cryptic stuff in Simon's Quest on NES,
Yeah.
but I don't think, you know, climbing a rope and going through a wall, I like to think to, like, keep going.
It's almost like they took something out of the book of Transylvania from DuckTales
Oh,
because
right.
there
Yeah,
were
with
those
the hidden
walls you
walls.
can.
That yeah, that's
Yeah.
good connection there.
So maybe, yeah, maybe there's something there to that.
Something there to that. What did you
Yeah.
think of the game, Dave?
I mean, I had this game. This was one of my original games growing up, and I loved playing this game so much, and I still love playing it. I actually read an article today of somebody that posted something online of how it's one of the most underrated Castlevania games that exist.
Oh,
And
okay.
I do agree with you, Russ, that it is slow. You're used to playing your Marios and your whatever, the platformers, and it just does move slow. Um, I would I would also add that there's a lot of platforming in this.
Yes,
And I
yeah.
don't remember there being as much platforming in the previous games that came before this version.
Hmm.
Especially when even in the first level, you just kind of walk and then there's these little platforms, and when you jump on them, they drop. So you have
Right.
to time them to go to the next one to get past. And so I thought that that was really interesting because that kind of gave a little bit of like a Mega Man element.
Yeah, yeah,
So I feel like there's like bits and pieces of other IPs that are in this game that just
yeah.
worked really well. And honestly, it's only about a 30-minute game if you just
Right.
play through it,
That's a good car ride game.
Yeah, so I love this game. I think it's one of the better on the Game Boy system. What about
Okay.
you?
So I never played it before. I did go hunting for this one actually. That was one of the games that was on my list that I was hunting for on the weekend. I couldn't find it, so I did have to emulate it sadly.
Okay.
I did use a controller, not the keyboard, so I was a little better off. But I found the platforming, I super slow. I agree. The movement on it just felt lagging. Uh oh, we've lost me.
Uh-oh.
God,
Your audio's
God
still
would
there.
lose me. God would
We
lose
can
me.
still hear you though.
But yeah, I just thought that it just felt a little slow.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They would have done that, and then I did feel that the movement on it was a little difficult sometimes. You have to, like, be
Mhm.
moving before you can jump, and
Right.
he
Right,
wasn't. He would
yes.
just, like, drop off the edge if I wasn't pressing the button at the right time, which was frustrating for me personally.
Yeah, I
So
feel timing is a big thing for that game.
right, I'd say
Absolutely.
trial and error for sure to be like, oh, okay, I can't do this. Like
Mhm.
later on, there's a part where the eyeballs are coming at you and you're on a bridge, and if you hit them, I think they explode and then damage the bridge, and then you got to jump over that area as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
there's like all
Mhm,
these extra things to look out for. Again, if you're using it as a weekend rental, maybe by Sunday you kind of got all those kinks out and you memorize some of the levels. That's
mhm.
why I think it's good that it is short. It's like, all right, I can put it in, play for 20 minutes, maybe you lose all my lives, put it down, do something else, come back to it essentially.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. What do we think about rating this game? What do you think, Russ?
I'm gonna go 3. I'll
Oh,
give it
okay.
3. Not as high as one might think. I don't know, 3.
Why not higher than that? I'm just curious.
I haven't played there's a second one on the Game Boy, and I feel like that one's better. I
Okay.
just feel like they work the kinks out, and it's just how slow it is being on the slow compared to the NES versions, I guess
So
you'd
if we
say.
could throw that second game away,
Right.
would you rate it higher?
Yeah, I probably a little bit. Just to be grateful,
Okay.
hey, we got a game on the Game Boy. That's
Mhm.
Castlevania.
Okay. So you're gonna give it 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. The slowness definitely is one thing that kind of deters from it. But I just have so much memories and so much nostalgia for this game. It's I think it's really the first Castlevania game I really got into. I mean, I played the original, but I think maybe because I owned this game, I never owned Castlevania growing up
Oh,
for the
okay.
NES.
Mhm.
I think it just holds more for me.
Okay.
And so I think that I would shoot it a 4 for that reason. It's a great game. I mean, no doubt about it. So, how about you, Keith? Are you over there? Can you hear
I'm
us?
here fighting with this camera, technical difficulties, technical difficulties. I would probably give it a 3 as well. I think
Okay.
it was I found it difficult. I didn't make it super far into it because I died quite repetitively, but I give it a 3.
Okay, great.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
We'll see what you guys had to say. We reached out to you guys to see what you thought about this rental game.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
Over on our Instagram page, we got Ty's Gaming. Says, I have never played this game, so I'm excited to give it a go. But a real question, did you ever actually rent handheld games at the store? I always went for the console games. Yeah, let's see who replied. David did reply to him.
I
Said,
replied, yeah.
I remember when my local rental store rented Virtual Boy games. Maybe that could be considered handheld.
Could be. Why not? Because you could rent the console as well. I do remember there were rentals of the Virtual Boy.
Gotcha.
You could rent any other console. So I don't know. I doubt they rented out Game Boys though.
True.
In our store, they did. Wherever it
Oh,
was
they
in
did?
that world of store.
Interesting.
No, they didn't actually, but in our
they
little
didn't.
world here,
Oh yeah, yes,
at the
And
Warp Pipe
we-
rental store.
At Warp Pipe
They-
rental store, we
Oh,
rent
I
out Game
see.
Boys.
yes.
Rob's into stuff says so many hours on this one when I was a kid. Nice. So that
Rob
two
is
people on there.
awesome, I have to say.
Did we get anyone on?
I believe we got one on the reel as well.
Yeah, let's see. Is the reel pulled up? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So Ty came back. So this is after he played it.
Nice.
First time ever playing Castlevania Adventure. And boy, this was another tough game. The platforming in this game was extremely difficult and really required you to use the very last pixel to make the specific jumps.
Mm-hmm.
The bosses were difficult, but fun to learn the patterns on. But between the lag that this game had when there was more than 3 enemies on the screen and trying to hit a precise jump made the game extremely tough. I made it to the 3rd level and trying to climb the tower while being chased, and even with save states, I struggled and eventually gave in. Castlevania Adventure is the answer a parent would give when they said, "We have Castlevania at home." Much prefer the original on NES. 3 out of 5 for me. So he went with the same rating as well as me and Keith.
Very cool.
Let's see. I think did I have one on YouTube? If you follow YouTube, you can go to the community page and interact with us there as well. Hey, we got Canadian Retro 46. I have no nostalgia for this one and just couldn't get into it. The movement felt clunky, and overall, the game was another real difficult one. The platforming elements took me an embarrassing number of attempts. I know people really love this game, but I'd have to personally give it a 2 out of 5. Sorry,
Interesting.
Dave.
Wow. Oh, did he say sorry, Dave? On
You
that?
did, yeah.
I must have
Well-
given my opinion away last week then.
Yeah, something I did pick up while I was hunting, looking for this one, was I did get one that we'd actually talked about a couple weeks ago. I did actually finally find an
Super
ad, Super
Metroids.
to my
Nice.
collection.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I can finally play it for real now.
Excellent. Yeah, I feel like, man, I feel like me and Dave gave it that higher rating because we grew up with this one and probably
Yeah.
played it a lot, like in these car
Mhm.
rides or whatever. But having the fresh take with Ty, Canadian Retro, and Keith in here, I guess I could see, where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
platforming was hard. And now that I'm back, I'm not distracted. That platforming was hard. And like they said, like you had to you'd be right on the edge to get that jump. And then if you weren't already
It's true.
moving and stretching jump, I was into oblivion, into the abyss so many times.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm certainly curious. We'll have to try and maybe we'll hold off till October for the spooky month, but trying the sequel. I think it's called like Simon's Revenge or something like that.
Belmont something or
Bel-
I think it's
Belmont's
Belmont.
Revenge.
Yeah, Belmont. Something,
yeah. It's supposed to, I know you mentioned that. I think it's supposed to be the better one. Like
Right.
Mhm.
maybe not.
And
Maybe
I
not
think it's
Dave's
more
opinion, but,
expensive
like,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first one is not cheap on if you get a CIB. The CIB is like I think close to $200.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with any of those Game
They
Boy
had a
games.
CIB one, and I was like, I am not pulling the trigger on that. But they did have the second
Yeah.
one in the store, one of the stores I was in. I think it was like 95 Canadian for the second
Okay.
one.
Okay.
So it is a little pricey, but not
Oh
not
wow,
crazy,
loose
crazy.
it's 95. Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian dollar is a little higher, right?
Canadian dollar is lower, I think.
Lower. So
yeah. So one of my dollars is like 72 of your cents.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Haha.
Right.
Put
a bump.
So
Dave,
guys,
what do we got to say?
Next week, so we're gonna switch things up on the Warp Pipe rentals. We always go to the rental store and we rent games, right? But we also rent movies. So I think once a month we're gonna go out. We're gonna rent a movie for the weekend. And we'll watch it. We'll talk about it, and then we'll share it with you guys. So for our very first Warp Pipe rental movie this week, we're gonna rent The Wizard with Fred Savage.
There it is. That's a classic one for sure. Hopefully you guys could find the at the rental store. Give it a go. You got a week.
They do make it on Blu-ray. They do make it on DVD, and you can always get the VHS. Now, I actually do also have it on Betamax. So you got all the platforms.
Whip out your Betamax player.
There you go. I don't have the Laserdisc though. The Laserdisc is not very cheap.
I imagine that.
Yeah.
Cool. So we hope you guys join us next week for that one, and hopefully you enjoyed Castlevania for this week's rental.
And with that, we are getting into Name That Quote. I'm frozen again. Roll the intro.
Hey, I bet you can't name that quote.
Okay, guys, you had it so easy last week. So
Dave's coming in with a vengeance.
How did we have it easy? I only got one last week. How did we have it easy?
I went 3 for 3.
you got 3 for 3.
Sorry,
You got 3 for 3. You got the penguin. You got, Keith did know that it was Leonardo that said the first quote. So I give him bonus points for that.
Because he's the best turtle.
Yes. No, I disagree with you. But we'll have that for another topic. So I didn't realize that I had a theme for this week until I saw the quotes. And I'm always trying to kind of put 2 and 2 together and see what I can come up with. So the theme for this week, guys, that names of the main character of these movies are in the title of the movie. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so. Well, we'll know once we get the first one.
So the quotes may not be the main character, but the main character might be in the title of the
Rambo?
movie.
Is it Rambo?
I'm going to tell you right now, Keith, it is not Batman Returns.
That was my first guess.
Okay, so you guys ready for number 1? Here we go. He'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He'll make me feel guilty. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go. What? I'll go. Name that quote.
That's
play
I can't even place it. Yeah.
Just play it because,
you guys don't know it?
No,
I know exactly what it is. Play it.
He'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He'll make me feel guilty. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go. I'll go.
I don't know this.
Really?
No,
I gave
it's
this
not ringing any bells.
Oh my gosh, I gave this a 2 out of 5. I thought this was like a shoe-in.
I can't place the voice. No.
Finally,
Wow.
I have one.
You have one?
Day Off.
It is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Who said it?
Cameron.
Cameron said it while he was sitting in the Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Is it now? Yeah.
Look at that. Keith coming in.
Oh. Well, that's what I get for only getting one last week. That'll be my only one this week.
Wow, I'm surprised. Okay. Are you guys ready for number 2?
Number 2.
Okay. The mind plays tricks on you. You play tricks back. It's like you're unraveling a big cable knit sweater that someone keeps knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting. Name that quote.
Now, the also theme could be a lot of repetitive of the same words.
That was the original plan, but I couldn't find a third one.
Okay.
Play it. Let's hear it.
Number 2.
The mind plays tricks on you. You play tricks back. It's like you're unraveling a big cable knit sweater that someone keeps knitting and knitting
Okay, obviously.
and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting.
Easy.
now I
Easy one
understand
with
why.
a quote.
Pee Wee Herman.
What movie?
I'll just go with Big Adventure.
It is Big Adventure. So congratulations. I gave that a 3 out of 5. So I knew you guys were going to get that one immediately once you heard the quote.
Absolutely. I
voice,
mean,
yeah.
the distinct voice. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going on to number 3. I gave this one a 5 difficulty rating. 5 out of 5. If you get this one, I'm just going to tell you it's a deep cut. Okay? You guys have had it so easy the past couple of weeks. I need to stump you.
Fair enough.
Batman Returns.
It's not Batman Returns. And it's not Batman Forever. And it's not Batman and Robin. And it is not Batman. Okay, you ready?
Right, here we go.
Here we go. I'm a powerful sorcerer. See this acorn? I'll throw it at you and turn you to stone. Name that quote.
Willow.
Wow!
Nice, Russ. Nice.
I knew it.
Play it.
I am a powerful sorcerer. See this acorn? I'll throw it at you and turn you to stone.
Perfect.
I would have had it if you would have played it for sure.
If I would have
would've
played
had
it.
that one.
I jumped the gun
just
a little
watched
bit
it
on it.
not long ago.
No kidding.
Russ was excited. And who was he saying it to? Name the
Oh.
actor he was saying it to.
Oh,
You could do it. I know you could do it. Keith, come on.
is it
Come on,
Mad
Keith.
McGarnagle or whatever? What's
What's the name of the actor who played the actor? Or who was the actor that played the role?
Michael Keaton.
Very close. I'll give you a hint. He played Batman.
Val Kilmer.
Yes.
I couldn't get the name. Yeah, I was like, he was in Top Gun. Come on now.
That was good too.
That too. Yes. So good job. I'm very impressed, Russ. Congratulations.
I remember watching like a Willow, I don't know if it was a movie review or something, and it might have been that and the NES game, but I remember that scene with like the acorns being like, because in the game I think you throw acorns or whatever. They were talking about how he wasted some of the acorns essentially in his quest, like how powerful they were. I do want to see the movie again, and I really want to try to play the NES game again because I played it a ton growing up, and it's very Zelda, Final Fantasy-ish.
It is, yeah.
And I was like, man, I gotta put some time aside and really get into it. But
it's a cool one for sure. It's definitely one worth checking out. A little bit of a hidden gem because a lot of people never played it at all, right? So it's definitely worth checking out.
Funny enough, coming in my YouTube like recommendations, there was a YouTube channel that does video game covers, and they did one of the parts in the Willow game, and people were like, "Oh, great! Like obscure one. Like instead of doing, I'm going to do Zelda, and I'm going to do this. Like, all right, Willow. Who's ever heard of this one?"
Well, I am impressed. So good on you guys. You got what? Two out of 3? Technically? No, you got 3 out of 3. You got 3 out of 3.
Because Keith got
the first one. You got the second. Well, you both got the second one.
Yeah.
And you guys got so congratulations. Next week, I'm coming in hot.
Ramp up the difficulty.
All right. Congratulations.
All right. Well, we're jumping into our main topic this week, where we're going to be breaking down movies that were released in 1985, and we're going to be ranking them. And again, this is our opinion, where we think they fit on the ranking scale. It's from S to D, and we haven't seen all the movies on the list. Combined, We have, yes, but there's some that maybe Keith saw and I didn't see, and vice
Mhm.
versa. And another fun fact is these movies are on their 40th anniversary. So if you haven't seen them, maybe now's the time to check them out. I did go through and we made a playlist. If you guys want on the Weekly Warpipe YouTube channel, if you go to playlist, I made a playlist of all the movie trailers. It'll just be like 1985 movies, and you can watch all the trailers of these movies and maybe pick out some that you're like, hey, maybe I want to check out this movie. And it seems pretty good. But we'll give you our opinions here, where we think they rank, and we are using um, Tier Maker website where we got all the movie posters down here, and we
Mhm.
can just put them into our ranking list. We'll see where it all ends up.
Now we should also add that there are a ton of movies that did come out in '85 that should be on this list, but because of timing and whether or not some of us have seen the movie, I narrowed it down to 20 movies after talking with Russ and Keith, and we're going to do our best to kind of combine our forces, so to speak, and just do the best we can with rating these 20 movies. And then maybe at the end, we'll tell you some honorable mentions of other movies that were released so you can check out.
Right, right. And we'll also have our comments as well from Instagram, YouTube, and whatnot, what you guys thought of some of these movies. We just kind of did a generic post with a couple posters, and
Hmm.
we'll be curious what you said on there. So we'll get right into it here.
Cool.
Do you have the list in a particular order? I guess you're going to go with.
There is no particular order. We could just kind of dive right into it. Um, I mean, we don't have all of the box art, right, to show you guys. So the best way to do this is we'll explain the movie. And I don't know if you guys could see the little movie posters down here, if you're watching, that is. So we'll do our best to describe the movie and kind of talk about it through there. So should we just start at the first one at the beginning and go through?
Yeah,
How's
just
that
how it's
sound?
listed out here. That works for
Yep.
us.
Do it.
Cool. So we're going to start with the iconic Back to the Future, the original, the originator, 1985. We all know that Marty McFly, it takes place in 1985. He goes back in time to 1955 I mean, you know what? I'm going to defer this to Russ because I know that Russ, this is his all-time favorite. I think I already know where this is going, but Russ, he's got the flux capacitor fluxing. So Russ, why don't you take it away and you take Back to the Future here?
Yeah. Funny enough, I'm going Saturday to see this movie, and they're having a live orchestra play the soundtrack while you watch the movie.
Oh wow,
Awesome.
that's
So
cool.
yeah, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, I mean, do we really have to say anything else? It's Back to the Future. This has to be S tier, like best time travel movie, best like 80s movie with all the cool references, skateboarding, like
Mhm,
the Walkman, the Darth Vader, like he's in the atomic suit, like so many great
mhm.
lines from it. I just feel like you gotta love this movie. Like it's gotta be S tier, right?
I don't know.
I agree.
What do you say? Do you agree?
I
What do you
agree, S
say,
tier.
Keith? S tier? Do you have any
Two
memories of
S's.
this movie?
It's awesome. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I could watch
Okay.
this every day and enjoy it. Like Russ said, it's got so much to it. So great. Such a great movie. And I just love Michael J. Fox as an actor. So yeah, S tier for me. For sure.
And we
Okay.
even said that me and Keith actually got to go see Doc Brown's house when we were in California. So we took a couple pictures in front of it, and it was just
Mhm.
like, this is awesome to be here and experiencing this.
Yeah.
So I made notes for some of the movies to remind me some certain aspects of it. I have no notes for Back to the Future.
No notes necessary.
Here, we're going to S tier. So
Where
there
we're
you
done, we don't need notes.
go.
There we go.
Let's go on to the second one. We got Better Off Dead. Do you guys remember this movie?
This is one I've never seen.
This is with John Cusack.
Hmm.
Russ, you know this movie because this is the famous "I Want My $2" movie.
Absolutely. Like I feel like that scene and the ending scene is just top tier, like
Yeah.
80s. Like, what is this going on? I haven't seen it recently. I
Hmm.
watched the trailer, but I definitely remember watching it, and John Cusack's great in it for sure. He's basically going up against this other guy that's like trying to take his girl, I guess, right?
Yep.
He's
Hmm.
down on his luck, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of scenes where he's like trying to off himself almost in like a comedic way, if you
I
could
mean, it's a John
imagine
Cusack
that.
movie. That's every John Cusack movie. Let's call it for what it is. He's always down on himself in every single movie he's in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Also, you know who else was in this movie? An actor named Curtis Armstrong, who you
okay,
know as Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. You remember that? He was
I
like one
did
of
see
his
that in the
friends.
trailer.
okay,
Yes. He was the
nice.
one like cheering him on when he was going down the ski and like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. Okay, yeah, that guy.
yeah. Yeah. So I based my ratings on nostalgia,
Okay,
how fun it is to go back to, and just like the overall experience of what it is now versus what it was. Nostalgia wise, I remember watching it quite a few times when I was younger. Haven't watched it in a while. I went back, watched the trailer, kind of saw some elements. And compared to some of these other movies, that's what I'm also trying to do is compare them to these other movies where they would sit.
okay.
I'm gonna have to give this one, what did I say? I'm gonna give this one a C
Oh, that
for
low.
kind of average.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was probably leaning towards the B with it, but
Okay.
I
Put it
could
right between the two.
I could see it being a C. Just meh.
Yeah.
It's got its
Meh.
moments, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like I
So what
said,
about you?
I haven't gone back to it. Like I've seen it,
Right.
and then I was kind of good, so I
It's
could see
not
that.
one of those that like your is on the top of your head for going back to.
Yeah.
I'll say this, if I'm talking about a John Cusack movie, I'm thinking of One Crazy Summer. That's my go-to John Cusack movie. So,
Okay.
what do you think, Keith? What do you rate in this
All I
one?
did was watch a trailer, so this is just based off the trailer. It's one that I would be interested in watching, so
Okay.
I will leave it to you guys to decide. It's one I would be interested in watching, but I
Ooh,
can't give
that's
it a rating
interesting.
just because I haven't seen it. So you
Gotcha.
guys
Okay.
decide.
What do you think? What do you think, Russ? Should we go
Um,
between B or C? What do you think?
well, since there's no halfway, we'll go C.
We'll go C. So you're kind of on the lower end of the B,
Yeah,
so to
yeah, I'd
speak.
say so.
Okay. Next one, we're gonna skip this other one, this first one, that because I want to talk about that one. Actually, I'm gonna move this to the end.
Okay.
Uh, Brewster's Millions. Do you guys remember this one?
Mm-mm.
I know
Nope.
Keith has. So Keith, why don't you
I
tell us
do.
about this one?
Yeah. So this one has got Richard Pryor in it. It's also got John Candy in it, who's an amazing actor. He was such a great actor, right? And Richard Pryor is a baseball player that finds out that his uncle is giving him $300 million, but the catch is he either gets like $1 million and that's it, or he can get $30 million that he has to spend within 30 days. But he can't buy property. There's all these rules to it. He can't damage anything and have to pay for it or damage what he buys. He can't give like 5% to charity and he can waste 5% on gambling. It's got Richard Pryor in it and he's hilarious. There's actually a few movies I think based. I think it's based on a book. A few
Mm,
movies based on it, but
Okay.
it's hilarious, like, to the point that John Candy's character, I think Spike is his name, actually is,
okay.
like, making investments and making money, so he can't he's having a tough time getting rid of it, and he's gotta keep the whole
Yes.
thing a secret. If he tells
Yeah.
anybody that that's what he's
Oh, okay.
doing,
Yeah.
he loses it all, right? So,
Right.
it's
He tells
really
John
funny.
Candy's character because he's one of his best friends.
Yeah.
But then he goes around and he talks to people on the street. Hey, who wants lunch? I'm buying everybody lunch, or like stuff like that. And Keith is correct. He has to spend $30 million within a certain amount of time, I believe.
Yeah,
And if he
30
does
days.
that, then he gets 300
Three
million
three
dollars.
hundred million, yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
And if he
wild.
doesn't,
that's a lot for back then too.
right, if he still
Yeah,
Yeah.
has
absurd
money at
amount.
the end of the 30 days, he gets nothing.
Right.
So
Okay.
like he has to spend this money in a game. There's all these rules to it.
It's a
There's like
weird concept.
it
Interesting. Okay.
is. There's all
Very
these
80s.
lawyers that are like deciding if what he's doing is he can do or can't do. So he goes to do something. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not going to count. So you can't do that.
Right,
But
right. So what do you
and just
rate in
too
this?
hilarious.
It's super funny.
It's definitely not Back to the Future. If I'm setting Back to the Future as my S,
Yeah.
Right.
it's probably based on the other movies on here. I would say it's
Mhm.
maybe a B, maybe a B. I want to push to an A, but I would say a B.
Okay. How about you, Russ?
I go B. I feel like that's safe. Richard Pryor's definitely funny. John Candy. The concept
Yeah.
sounds pretty wacky, so I'd give it a go. We'll go.
Yeah.
B sounds fair. It's in the
And
middle.
I am in agreement with you guys as well. I would say B as well. So B tier is where Brewster's Million goes to. All right, the next one, classic Chevy Chase. We got all of those vacation movies, right? Well, this year in 1985, the National Lampoon's European Vacation came out. And I'm going to say this right off the bat, one of my favorite vacation movies. I don't know
Wow.
about you guys. Yeah, what do you
All
guys
right.
think?
Jeez. Honestly, I watched the trailer and I was like, eh, I don't know if it's hitting. When did Christmas Vacation come out? Before
Oh, that
this?
wasn't until the 90s.
That was
After
way
this
out.
one,
Okay. So I
yeah,
feel
because
like
it was
Yeah.
they're still catching their like formula, maybe. I don't know.
like
Okay.
Vacation. The first one is awesome. This one, if I'm basing a vacation movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'd probably watch this one last. It's the last one I would think I would get
Okay.
to watch out of
Interesting.
the group of them, right? Oh, no, change that. Scratch that. The newest one, that new one where that one's last on my list. Throw
What's
that
the
in the
newest one?
Like
Uh,
2024 or something, or like
yeah, like 2020 or 2018 or something like that. There's a new
this
one
one that came
that's
out.
got it's got
After Vegas Vacation?
yeah, and it's like there's the son's family. The son takes the
Oh.
Rusty or whatever, but it's
Oh, I did see that. Yes. Yes.
yeah, it's got like
Yeah,
is it
with
Christina
the guy
Applegate?
from The Office.
Yeah, yeah.
Ed Helms.
So stay away
Yeah.
from that one.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
Ed
throw that
Helms
one
and
back.
Christina Applegate, right?
This one is definitely better than that, but this one's definitely
I
not one
will
of the
say
best.
I feel like they probably had a blast filming this because it looked like all the stunts and fun stuff they were doing. I was like, that's probably really fun filming.
Yeah.
It is pretty wild. What did you guys rate it?
Not not really seeing it. I'd probably go C with it
Okay.
just because I feel like Christmas Vacation is just so up there,
Okay, so
even though this came
you're
before.
comparing it to the other ones.
Yeah.
You know who's also in this movie? William Zabka, who plays Johnny in Karate Kid. He
Oh,
plays he
okay.
plays what's the daughter's name? Oh my god, why can't I think of the daughter's name in Vacation? I don't know.
I only remember Russell
You
because
guys, yeah, Russell. Yeah, right. But anyway, he plays her boyfriend.
okay.
Yeah. So I give this a B tier. I remember watching this movie over and over and over and over again. I love this movie, so I'm going B.
I would agree. It's a B. If this was Vegas Vacation or Christmas Vacation, I would give it an A, possibly an S. But European Vacation, I give it a B.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, I feel like
I
that's
guess
good.
I guess we're going B then.
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
2 against 1. All
And
right,
Russ hasn't
so
seen it, right?
I mean,
So
I just watching the
right,
trailer. Yeah.
right,
yeah.
right. So the next one is a classic. We talked last week a little bit about how the 80s had a lot of movies with kids and like little groups of kids that went around and just had adventures of a lifetime. So the next one on the list is the movie Explorers. And this one has a very young Ethan Hawke as well as River Phoenix. So the premise of this movie is basically they're little scientists and they figure out a way how to like float in the air or something. So they end up making a spaceship out of a carnival ride and then taking an adventure into space. It's pretty wild. It's super fun. I mean, what kid in the 80s growing up didn't want to like adventure out, build a space shuttle and just
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
off?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
super fun movie. I say. Did you see it, Russ?
No, so I watched the trailer on this one and never been on my radar. Never heard of this
Wow.
one. First time seeing the trailer, and I was like, okay, it's kind of a cool concept. They
Hmm.
put like they got the montage of putting all these parts together in their basement, and then they
Yep.
invent something like you said, and then they go to the junkyard, and I was like, okay. I was like, and I want to say, did Disney put this out? I know one of them. I was like, oh, Disney was behind this. Maybe it's not this movie.
I'm not 100% certain. I'd have to
Okay,
look that up.
it might have been one of the other ones, but it looks like a fun concept. I mean, I'd be interested in checking it out.
Okay, cool. How about you, Keith?
This is one that I think I've seen, but I don't know for sure. I thought there was another movie that is similar to this one that it might have been that I watched, and they like
Okay.
make this spaceship type thing. I watched the trailer. It definitely looks like one I would want to watch. So
Hmm.
again, based on the trailer, like Russ said, looks like it would be interesting.
Okay.
So
So
we're relying on you,
how would you
David.
rate it?
Right.
This is
We'll
just all
defer.
on me.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards a B,
Okay.
depending
Yeah,
on
I
what,
would probably
because
lean
Dave's
based on
like
the
S
trailer, I would
tier.
lean towards a B. Yeah.
Right.
I would not go S tier. I'm gonna
Right.
be
Right.
like I said, the way I don't know if a lot of our viewers know me all that well just yet, but I am a very big movie buff. I consider myself to be a movie guy, especially for these retro movies that came out when I was growing up. I spent a lot of time like there were uh, I would say 17 out of the 20 movies that are on this list I've seen. And that was before I talked to Keith and Russ, where we kind of fudged them a little bit, where we ended up putting on some that only they've seen and I missed out on. Before that, I couldn't believe how many movies I saw from 1985. That being said, I'm looking at them also from like cinematic standpoints,
Hmm.
camera shots. I work on movies, so like I kind of have that visual of what is very interesting as far as story, as far as cinematography, soundtrack, all that. I rate this one at a B.
Okay. I
So
think
we're
we're
gonna
both
go
in
B
agreement
then.
with that.
we're gonna go to the B tier. All right. So the next one on the list is a movie with Tom Cruise and Tim Curry, who you guys know from Home Alone 2. He played the concierge guy, like at the the boss at the hotel. He plays this huge demon character. This is totally a like sci-fi fantasy adventure movie, and that is the movie Legend. Have you guys seen this at all?
Oh
No.
yeah,
You've seen this? Do you have any
I've seen it.
memories
Yeah,
of it?
I feel like this was something that my dad probably rented, right, and then I was kind of watching bits and pieces of it, but I
Mhm.
definitely distinctly remember it. I mean, the devil character stands out
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much, in fact, that I don't know if you guys remember, but during COVID, there was a commercial, I think, for Tinder, and it had that devil in it.
Oh, I
Do you
think I
remember this?
remember that. I think I do remember
Hmm.
that.
So I was like, wow. Like, it was
Wow,
like,
that's a
hey,
throwback.
it's
Yeah.
hard dating during COVID, da, 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 and it had the devil.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that.
And I think it's an awesome, like, whoever did costume design,
Oh, yeah,
fantastic. Like,
for sure.
so great. And it has that whimsical feel. Definitely a classic for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember anything about it, Keith?
All I did was watch the trailer on this one, and that
Okay.
devil creature definitely stood out to me. That looked really, really cool. This one looks like it would be super cool to watch. If you guys haven't seen this and you're listening or watching, definitely check out the playlist and definitely check out, yeah, that devil there, the great big horns.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out, I think, because it looks like it would be an interesting one. I'm excited to see what you two are going to rate it as, and that will decide for me if it's one I'm going to hunt down to really watch.
I couldn't believe watching it that it was Tim Curry because first off, it doesn't look anything like him, right?
Right,
He
right,
was in
right.
Rocky he was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was in Home Alone. I mean,
He
he's
was
Well,
So
funny
well
enough, fitting.
known.
He was in It, right?
That's true. He played
He
the
played
clown.
It. So
Yeah. Pennywise. Yeah.
A lot of
Uh,
range.
so what do you think, Keith? What would you rate based on the trailer?
Based on the trailer, it looks a little cheesy, but it still looks good at the same
Okay.
time. So I would
Sure.
probably land at B or C, but
Oh,
not
interesting.
watching
Okay.
it and having both you guys watched it, I would kind of leave
Okay.
it to you guys, I think, for that
Okay.
based on trailer. B or C. It's one I would probably look for. Again, I'm interested to see what you guys rated at. That might change what I think.
Okay. What do you think, Russ?
I feel like I'm leaning towards an A
Okay.
since I haven't gone back to it over and over again. So I feel like I couldn't put it at the S tier. Because
Sure.
how I
Oh,
fell
so
in love with Back
you
to
would
the
be
Future.
that high.
I think just because of like, how distinct like that devil is. Like again, costume
Right.
design so spot on. You got
Sure.
Tom Cruise in it, like like
Mhm.
a all-star cast for sure.
Yeah. Do you know who else is in it?
Probably, but
Who plays the girl?
no.
The
Val
girl is
Kilmer?
played. Yeah. Nice try. Although it is somebody from one of our Name That Quotes this week. It is Mia Sara, who played Sloane in Ferris Bueller.
Oh,
There you
So
go.
she is the love interest, so to speak, in the movie Legend. I would rate this, I would go A tier on this one.
Okay.
So I think
our
we're
first
kind of in agreement.
first A, and I might actually have to hunt this down to watch.
Yeah, this is I'm going to be honest with you. I was actually at a B, but once we started talking about it and me visualizing it in my head, I think I might go ahead and watch it again tomorrow. So I'm going to go A tier. Russ is going to go A tier. We're all going to go A tier. All
Yeah, I
right.
think it says they're good.
Okay. Now, the next one, I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I remember watching this quite a bit when I was younger. It's called Just One of the Guys. Do you guys know anything about this movie?
I I watched the trailer and I was like,
Okay.
I could see this being a total 85.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I would say the
Yep.
same thing. Yeah.
I feel like I seen it, but like I can't remember though. Like if it's
Okay.
just like bits of some other movies or this and that. It has a fun concept, I would say. A
Okay. So
little spin on it.
the story about this basically is uh there's a girl that she is a reporter and she's not being taken seriously, right? So she wants to be taken seriously. So she kind of goes undercover and wants to be just one of the guys. So she basically cosplays, or I don't know what you want to call it. She dresses up as a guy, she acts like a guy, she goes to school as a guy, she gets introduced as a guy, she makes friends as a guy, she lives as a guy. And she ends up falling in love with somebody, and then there's all this other stuff going on, and her brother knows that she's her brother's behind it too. um William Zapka is actually also in this movie too. He was quite busy in these years. He was, like I said before, Johnny from Karate Kid.
Well,
um
I was gonna say that when I watched the trailer, there's like a quick clip it and like so like there's girls that are getting attracted to her because they think
yes,
she's a guy and they're like
that's yes.
they're like she's he's a little Danny Russo like
Yeah,
Karate
yeah.
Kid
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yes, that's true. That is an actual quote from it. Yeah.
yeah.
So, so based on the trailers that you guys watched, how would you guys what would you guys think about this movie?
I'll let Keith go.
I'd go B or C again,
Okay.
just based on the trailer. I mean, looks like it could be interesting, could be funny, but at the same time, looks like it might be very 85. So,
Okay.
yeah, B or C.
All right. How about you, Russ?
I feel like this probably set the groundwork for like future movies, right? That
Sure.
took this concept and kind of put a spin on it and this and that. It looks like a fun one. I'd probably watch it once. I don't know if I
Okay.
would go back to it. It's probably
Sure.
one of those one and done. So it'd probably be closer to a C for me, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. For me personally, it's a toss up between B and C to me. I might lean more towards the end of B. So that being said, where were you, Keith? Remind me again. Were you at a
I would
C?
say B or a C. I would lean, if it was just based on the trailer, I would lean really close to a C. So I would say C.
Okay. So I think the consensus with all of us will probably rate it around a C.
Like, would I
Looks
pick
good there.
something else on the list first? Probably. So
Same,
that
same. I feel the same way. It is a great, fun movie to watch, but I think I'm in agreement with Russ. It's one of those movies you don't really need to watch over and over again. I mean,
Right,
it's
right.
obviously a comedy, and I feel like that's kind of like a comedy thing where you kind of get your fix the first time, and then you don't necessarily have to go back to it unless you're, you know, laughing your butt off on it. So we'll
It's
go
the
C.
what was the movie with Drew Barrymore? That's literally the same thing. She's a reporter and she goes to high school and poses as a high
Oh,
school student.
oh,
yeah,
I feel like
is that
there's a
Just Been Kissed?
yes.
yeah, there's a
Because then
few of
she's
them that I feel are like that.
right. So I'm like getting those vibes with it where
Yeah.
it's like
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. So
fair
let's
enough.
move on to the next one. The next one is a retro cart collector pick to add to this list. It is Mad Max. What is it? Thunderdome? Or
Beyond the
Beyond
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome?
You know why I
Yeah,
picked this one? Is because 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. That's Thunderdome.
it is it
That's how
is
this
true.
goes.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Nice,
So what
This
nice.
do you think,
one
Keith? Tell us all about it.
so this one is the second one in the Mad Max series, I believe.
That is correct.
This one, he is kind of wandering through the wasteland, ends up at Bartertown. Bartertown is kind of up on the surface, and it's run by Tina Turner, which is crazy
That's
that
yep.
Tina Turner is running it.
Mhm.
Um, and then underneath it, there's the underworld or something like that, they call it. And it's run by um, a little person that goes by the name of Master. And he rides on this great big um, character called Blaster. So together they're Master Blaster, and they run all of the. I think they're farming pigs for methane to supply Bartertown. And Mad Max rolls in. They see that he's this great fighter, so they try to. Tina Turner's character tries to get Mad Max to challenge Blaster Master for control of whatever. So then 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, and they find out that Blaster is actually has like a learning disability, like is a someone of that
Mhm.
nature. So he won't kill him. So they end up killing him anyways. And she takes over. And then all of a sudden, like that part of the movie ends, and all of a sudden he's walking across the desert and finds this oasis with all these kids that were basically orphaned in a plane crash. And then there's a whole different movie we're into. And then they
Interesting.
go back to Bartertown, and
Wow.
then they take over, they
What's
save Master, and then they go away in a Road Warrior style way. I guess this is the third
Wow.
one in the Mad Max series. The first one's
Is
Mad
it?
Max. Yeah, the second one's Mad Max Road Warrior, and the third one is
Oh,
Beyond the Thunderdome. Yeah. So
interesting. I didn't know about that second one.
yeah, it's a good one. I
So I watched the
I
trailer
this
and I watched the first trailer and I also watched this trailer. And this movie, from what I see, is far different from the original.
oh yes.
It's so far different. So much that I would prefer this movie, the Beyond Thunderdome.
over
It's
the
more
original?
of yeah, it's more of the first movie kind of also
Over
reminded me of Death Proof. I don't know if
sorry,
you guys
the
have
so
ever
the
seen
original or
the
Mad Max the
original
Road Warrior?
original.
Yeah, the original is definitely much different for
Yes.
sure.
And so this one reminds me more of like the newer movies, right? Like where
Yeah.
they kind of went off in that direction. After watching the trailer, I would totally watch this. I you know, it's funny, I actually have this on VHS, and I think the reason I bought it on the VHS is not only that I know that it's a classic movie, but the artwork. Russ, do you have the poster that we can show people?
That one
It's
here? This one? Oh, here, let me
no.
One
just
next to it there, I think, with
like
the
that
kids.
one,
That
right?
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah,
looking.
it's Mad Max and Tina Turner with a bunch of like teenagers dressed like desert dwellers walking in front, and then a bunch of
Yeah.
vehicles, Road
Yeah,
Warrior
the
style
bottom.
vehicles across the bottom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cinematically, I mean, what do you think about it, Keith? Because I haven't seen it through, so
I like it. It's just the I remember watching it as a kid, and the breakup between the two like story arcs almost that happen and then coming back together. It seems a little slightly disjointed to me.
okay.
Still good, just seems a little disjointed. Like after they exile Mad Max, they put him on the horse and send him out to the desert, and then when the horse collapses, then he gets up and frees himself, and that's when the next half of the story starts, which that seems a
Okay.
little disjointed. But
Okay. Can we please stop talking about horses on this podcast? It's just upsetting me. Russ, have you seen it?
I haven't seen this one, so
Okay.
I'll defer to you guys. I feel like it'd be something I'd be into, so I'd
Yeah.
probably just go B rating with it.
Sure. Same. Okay. So
I would
Keith,
give it
you
an A.
make the call.
I would give it an A, but low A. I would lean maybe towards a B, but I mean, yeah, I would give it a B based on the other movies we're gonna look at. If I give it a B.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right, next one is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Have you guys seen this movie?
Oh yeah,
Never
yep.
seen it.
Okay, cool.
Never seen it.
So I'm just gonna get right to it. Obviously, it's the sequel to the Nightmare on Elm Street series, right? What I'm gonna say is it's not gonna beat Freddy 3. It's not gonna beat Nightmare 3, The Dream Warriors. That is my favorite of the entire series of Freddy movies. So what do you guys think based on that? You've all seen it. What do you
I
think?
haven't. I have not seen it at all.
Oh, you haven't seen it. Oh, okay.
Not a
Have you seen any of the
single-
Nightmare movies?
Not a single one. No.
Doesn't
Did you
even
watch
know
the
who Freddy
trailer?
is.
I know who Freddy is. I did not watch the trailer. I want to sleep tonight.
Oh, okay. Russ. All right, we're gonna block out Keith here. So Russ,
enough,
it's
fair
between
enough.
you and me. What are you thinking?
With the trailer, it really amps it up. I feel like with him coming out, having the success for the first one, and you're like,
Yeah.
how they cut the trailer definitely seems it to me. Knowing what the movie's about, I feel like the trailer almost misleads you a little bit, right?
Okay.
But I think it's still a good movie. It's a good
Sure.
one for
Sure.
sure. Still, great kills in it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
What are we gonna rate it?
B, B,
Uh,
C.
I agree. I agree, B. Well, I guess we'll go B.
We'll go B.
Okay, we'll go B. All right, now the next one I don't know if you guys have seen. It is actually Jim Carrey's very first movie. It's called Once Bitten. Have either of you guys seen this movie?
I have not.
No?
So when
Okay.
I watched the trailer, I
Okay.
feel like I remember seeing it. Where I was
Yes,
like,
it's a
okay, I've
very
seen
yes.
parts of this, and I was like, oh, that is Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
And I was like, definitely 80s, like,
sure.
vampires are big. You got all those Fright Night,
Mhm.
Lost Boys, and all that. So they're like, all right, let's do vampire, but like comedy with it. So you get a
Yeah.
sexy vampire lady, like, okay.
Right.
So
Basically, the sexy vampire seduces Jim Carrey. He has a girlfriend, and the whole movie, he's kind of like getting very close to this vampire, and he starts turning into a vampire. So he asks for like raw meat to eat. He's starting to look the part where he's slicking his hair back, his face is getting pale, and it's basically like a transformation into a vampire. And that's as far as it goes, basically. I'm not going to spoil the movie, so you guys can watch
yeah.
it if you want to, but that's essentially what the movie is. Um, Based on that, I'm giving it a C,
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty where it is. Looking at the other ones there. C's
especially
good.
with like the cinematography of it and just like based on the movies that are on this list.
Yeah.
I can't compare this to Back to the Future. There's no way. So I'm going C tier. An agreement, Russ, for that?
Yeah.
Perfect. How about you, Keith?
I just watched the trailer, so I will go with that as well.
Great. Okay. All right. Next one. was one of our Name That quotes this week. Pee-wee's Big Adventure turning 40 years old
Nice.
this year. Pee-wee Herman's first movie as Pee-wee, if I'm not mistaken. You guys should know all this movie, but for those that don't, Pee-wee goes on a big adventure. He Francis, his friend, ends up stealing his bike, and he goes on an adventure to try to find the bike. And Francis sells the bike, and he goes cross country looking for this bike. He brings the whole community together. It's a wild ride. There's so many memorable characters in this, so many memorable locations that they filmed at. This is the famous movie where they talk about the basement in the Alamo. They go. There's so many things about this movie to talk about. So what do you guys think? You guys seen this movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
would. It's good. It's enjoyable. I was never into Pee-wee's Playhouse, so I think it's enjoyable. I would
Okay.
probably shoot probably a B or an A.
B or an A? Okay. So
Yeah,
you're like
probably
low A, high B?
Yeah.
low
Okay.
A, high B. I'd probably go A with it.
Okay. So I'm going S tier.
Yeah.
Oh.
I probably could see that.
I'd go S tier.
This
But
doesn't
because
surprise
of
me.
A and B, with you guys, we'll shoot it at an A.
Okay, put it at an A.
'Cause I think that that's a good if you're at a B and an A, then yeah, I think we're good at that. Another pick by Keith for this list was Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Okay.
I have not seen this movie. Keith, take it away.
It's second Rambo movie. Big change from the first one. The first one was kind of looking at, the people coming back from Vietnam and how they were thinking and acting and all that stuff. This one just turns into an action movie. Rambo gets out of prison. They pardon everything from the first one, send him off to save POWs. There's some interesting twists in this one. This is a pretty good action movie. It's maybe not the best Rambo, but this
Okay.
is a classic Rambo action movie. It brings us the Rambo that we all kind of remember. So I think I'd
What would
probably
be
give
like the
this.
best Rambo for you? Just for reference.
Oh,
I've only seen
my
like
actually,
one or two.
it's probably this one. To be honest with you, it's probably this one.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Thinking about it, yeah, this one really jumps into the action. So
I say the
Okay,
first
great.
one is
Anyone else seen
very
this one?
slow paced
yeah,
to get to the action.
yeah. Has anyone else seen this one?
I have not seen this one. However, I watched the trailer earlier. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you guys watched the trailer or not.
I didn't know.
You did not. Okay. So the trailer, I was dying the first 20 seconds into because it's this super close up of his muscle and
Yeah.
like all of the, like texture and all of the shadows of his muscle. And
Yeah,
the
it's super
camera,
80s macho.
but wait a minute, but the camera pans down and the camera's picture this in your head. There's super tight shots on his muscle. I'm sorry, guys, I have no reference to show you. It's a slow camera shot going down his arm to his hand, where he's aggressively tying his shoe, and that's where we start the trailer.
Yeah.
And I just started. I was like, "Wow, that's a way to start a Rambo trailer."
Macho action.
Aggressively
That's not
tying his
80s.
shoe.
Right? Have you seen this one, Russ?
My dad definitely would rent movies like this on the weekend when I was there. So I've seen it, but definitely can't place it.
Okay.
So I can't weigh too much into it. So I'd probably go C, B in that
Okay.
area.
I'm going A because it is the almost like pinnacle of 80s action movie.
Okay. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
What kind
Well,
of brought it all?
I've only seen the trailer. I did see like the later Rambo movies. However, I'm gonna defer this one completely to Keith because after watching the trailer to this movie, I'm not really that big into like all of the action and guns and like military and all those kinds of movies. So maybe a toss up. So I think maybe we landed in a B tier. I think we should be good.
Yep, bring her B.
Cool. All right.
And then
Well,
directly into another
another
Stallone
Stallone
movie.
movie. One thing about these 1985 movies, there's multiple movies with the same actors. Like actors were busy in 85. There's multiple Chevy Chase. There's multiple Michael J. Fox. There's multiple Sylvester Stallone. So Rocky 4, guys, is our next one.
Okay.
Best Rocky movie out of all of them. I don't care what anybody says. It is the top one of all of the movies. What do you
Okay.
guys think?
I mean, yeah, he basically single-handedly ends the Cold War. So yeah, it's one of the best ones for sure.
It is true. That is true. Do you guys have any memorable like scenes or anything from it? Because I feel like this is the movie of
Yeah.
montage.
I say
Yeah,
the
it's
training,
definitely
the
got the
training
best
scene.
montage.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love going seeing how the Russians training, and then you go to Rocky and he's in the like woods or whatever doing his
Right.
easy stuff. Like, all right, let me
In the
no machines
snow.
for me. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely good.
And then the soundtrack is killer. I mean, he
Okay.
has to avenge his buddy Apollo Crews, who gets
Yes.
killed by the Russian in the ring. And then he has this big blow up with Adrian about how he has to fight. And it's a wild movie when you think about it. There's so many layers to this movie. I'm going S tier.
Yeah, I feel like we got to get some more S tiers on there, right? So I feel like this
Yeah, I would
fits the
agree.
deal for sure.
I would agree just because it is probably one of the most memorable Rocky movies there is. Yeah.
For sure.
What's next? What we
100%.
got next?
Next up, we've got Keith's favorite, St. Elmo's
Oh.
Fire.
Oh, okay. I didn't see
Keith,
this one.
tell us about the movie.
I
Keith.
made it like halfway through it and I shut it off, to be honest with you. I did actually try to watch it for this tier list and I made it like halfway through and I was like, this is super 80s and super John Hughesy.
Now, why? Okay, so this movie, Russ, have you seen it?
No, just the trailer.
Okay,
I
so
feel
this
like it didn't interest me.
No,
So
it
this
didn't.
movie
The
is
trailer didn't
basically-
interest me either.
yeah. So this movie is basically a group of friends who go to St. Elmo's, which is like their pub, I guess, and there's a lot of moving pieces to these characters. You guys got to watch. There's a video out there that I watched that kind of explains the whole movie, which made it hilarious about how it stands up. Maybe we'll leave that video in the comments to the podcast so you guys can check it out. But it's a very good, fun explanation of it. I feel, me personally, comparing them to the movies on this list. I mean, you got a killer cast with this, right? You got the Brat Pack, and you guys all know the Brat Pack. If you don't, who is it? It's all the guys from the Breakfast Club. It's Rob Lowe. Uh, it's a crazy cast. For me personally, I would probably rate this as a C tier.
Okay.
I would be at a C tier for this one.
I feel like that's probably where.
I don't know what I would give a D, but definitely C.
Okay, so we're in agreement that.
Oh,
Because
wait,
there-
no, I do know what. I do know what I would give a D. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, we're going to the next one. But let me just add, the reason that I'm also putting this on C is because there is another John Hughes movie that is on this list that deserves better. So the next movie we're moving into is a Star Wars spin-off movie, and that is the Ewoks. What is it called?
Battle
Ewoks,
for
The
Endor.
Battle for Endor. This is basically the sequel to the first one because they released two of them, one in 84 and one in 85.
Battle for Cringe is what this one is.
You think so, huh?
Oh,
You don't have any memories of this?
how does it even make sense? It's supposed to be canon, and Wicket can speak English. And then Return of the Jedi happens, and he looks at Princess Leia. He's like, "Glub glub." What? Doesn't even make sense. Get out of
What
here.
did,
with a D.
wait, what did he say?
I don't know, a glub glub or something. I don't know what Wicket says.
All right, I just wanted someone to clip that for us. Okay, so what do you think of okay, so we already know your opinion. I mean, look at the poster, guys.
The
The
poster
poster
does
is
go hard.
crazy.
Poster
It
goes
does
really
go
hard.
hard. Yeah. So what do you think, Russ? Do you have any memories of this movie?
I have no memories of seeing this movie. I watched the trailer today,
Okay.
and I feel like they're, like George Lucas or like Disney, this and that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I feel like this could be the way it's done, like in like a TV show, like Star Trek. You would watch like a 45-minute episode of that. Like I feel like it
Okay.
doesn't have the power that the original movies had
Okay.
Well, technically, I think in some countries it was released like
in
as
theaters.
a movie in theaters,
Okay.
and like here it was like TV, right? I think we could have
Okay.
watched it,
Yeah,
Okay.
but
I
it
believe this
never.
was a made for TV, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it had like theatrical release. But
Okay.
Right. So what do you think, Russ, based on that? Would you go see it?
I'd watch it once.
Okay.
I'd
Just to
say,
watch it.
yeah, just to be like, let's see what the story is. Like,
This
I'm not.
exists.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go deep. Maybe I just lean. What do we have in our C tiers here? I go with. Is it similar to these here? Yeah, I guess it kind of holds up to there. Better Off Dead's in there. Just one of the guys. Those are kind of the one-off movies. I'll watch them once and then that's it. I feel
Yeah,
like D is like I won't even give it a chance.
right. That's this now, you made a good point about looking at this list. Now that I'm looking at the C tier, I feel that it might be lower than these movies based on
yeah,
because I mean, if you watch the trailer too,
Hmm.
the special effects look better in the original Star Wars than they did in this movie,
Right, right,
right? And this movie came out what, like 8 years later?
right. That's why I'm like, it feels like maybe they just had a TV show budget or like what
Right.
happened.
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So what are you thinking, Keith?
D all day.
All right. We're giving the Ewoks the D. All right, moving on. All right. Next one, another Michael J. Fox movie, guys. Teen Wolf. You want to? I mean, I know you've seen this, Russ. You want to take it?
I haven't seen it in quite some time, but
Okay.
let's see if I jump back over to me. Definitely being a big Michael J. Fox fan for sure. I enjoyed him in Back to the Future, and then seeing this, I was like, this movie's cool.
Yep.
Freaking Wolf, he's going to high school. So
Yep.
many memorable scenes. And even playing on that, like, you're a kid in high school and you want to be so much more. I wish people would notice me more and this and that. And when he becomes the wolf, right? He gets that attention. He could get the better girl. He's better at basketball. And it is a movie of him like hitting puberty and coming to age and all that.
Right.
I will say one scene stands out to me is when he was doing the handstand on
Yep.
while his buddy's riding the van, and you got freaking everybody gone surfing. I
Hmm.
love that scene and would freaking dance in the living room when it came on. Good time.
And he's got a friend named Styles.
Oh,
I mean,
right,
how
right.
cool is that? That's very 80s. You know who's also in this movie, guys? Mark
No,
Holton. You know who Mark Holton is?
no.
No.
That is Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, that's right.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, all of these actors worked
They
Oh
between
were.
yeah,
84 and 85. It's
yeah.
crazy. What about you, Keith? You got some memories of this?
The basketball scene.
Which one?
Like when he's
Where
just dribbling and like no,
he does the flip or whatever.
Oh, you know what, the basketball scene where he's like getting all like huddled in and then he
Yeah.
just explodes as
right, and
as
then
the
and then
wolf.
he's just dribbling and
He's
it's
just
silent.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Great movie. And we had this as a name that quote just a few
Yep.
weeks back. What are you giving it, guys?
I'd say A.
Definitely a close to an S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not
I
quite Back to the Future. It's not quite Rocky, but it's
right.
definitely an A.
Okay. I would go A. So I
Okay,
think
so
I think we'll go
average.
A. Yeah, yeah. Definitely better than these movies in the B tiers. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty satisfied with this list so far. The next one is the one that we were talking about, another John Hughes movie, which is The Breakfast Club. Probably the most well-known John Hughes movie that's out there. Um, if you guys don't know the story, I don't know, maybe you've been living under a rock. It's a bunch of, high schoolers that get detention for a Saturday. They got to come into school, but they're all different types of characters. So
Oh yeah,
there's,
the jock.
there's the jock, there's the, the prissy, girl, there's the weirdo, there's the, bully,
Mhm.
who am I missing? And then there's like the studious kid. Um, and it's basically them just, I actually just heard a story about this movie where they were gonna have someone else direct this movie, I believe. Um, and I think if it, don't quote me on this because I did read this recently, and I think this is the truth. John Hughes said that he could do it for less money, and then they ended up doing it, and it makes sense because they only had what, one or two sets like within the school,
Right, right.
so it really made sense. Um, do you guys have some memories of this movie or memorable scenes?
It's just a classic, I think.
It is a
Yeah,
classic.
I mean,
Like,
definitely remember
that's
watching it.
yeah,
Mhm. What are you guys rating
no,
it?
it's a classic. Russ?
I'm leaning towards a B. I don't know if it's
Okay.
A.
All right.
I would
How about
I would be
go ahead,
A,
Jake.
but I would be low, probably low A, so B would work.
Yeah. I was around an A tier as well.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
might be a little better than the B tier movies we have already, so it might need to be an A,
Right, right. That's what
just
I'm
based on the
thinking
fact that
is
it's a
Okay.
like
classic.
I would
Yeah.
rather watch this over all of those movies in the B
Yeah.
tier.
Yep.
So I guess we're going A.
A it
Okay.
is.
Got some classics in there. All right, only a couple left, guys. We got this one needs no introduction, guys. It's the Goonies.
Just put it at
It's
S, come on
it's the
now.
Goonies. Like all I'm going to say about the Goonies is, and I've said this before, if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, The Goonies is one of those movies where I give a lot of respect to. The cinematics of it is beautiful. The fact that they're a group of kids, if you watch this movie from like a cinematic standpoint, there are so many like what you would call I guess screen grabs or stills from this movie that are so iconic. The four of them kind of looking at the map together,
Right.
uh just the way they're positioned, right? And I feel like the director, I mean, that's got to be challenging in itself to get four characters kind of all doing the scene with uh placement as
Mhm.
well as script, to do their lines. It's it, it's such a good movie that I can go back to over and over again. And the one thing that I really enjoyed about the behind the scenes of this movie is I don't know if you guys know this story, but the kids never saw the pirate ship until they came up from the water.
Right, I
The
did hear that.
director never let them see the ship.
So
They
it'd be
wanted
a
to
genuine reaction.
they wanted to get
You'd
a
be like,
genuine reaction.
"Whoa, like that's
Yeah.
freaking."
So I mean, I can't say much more. S tier.
Yeah, obviously S tier.
I would absolutely. It's such a great movie, just classic,
And so many characters, so many lines, so
right?
many like, oh my
What
god,
all of us
so
kids
good.
wanted to be able to do when after we watched it, go on that adventure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did any of you relate to any of the characters?
Data. I
Setting
wouldn't
booty,
say
Not
booty
related.
call.
I think they all have their own individual
Yeah.
thing that I kind of picked from that I as a kid that I kind of related with. But
Nice. All right. So moving on to the next one. I don't know if you guys remember this movie. It is a deep cut, but I had to leave it on there because it is, in my opinion, pretty classic. And that
Okay.
is The Legend of Billie Jean. Have
Never heard
either
of
one
this
of you
movie.
seen this?
never heard of it
Oh,
Never. It
ever.
has nothing to do with Michael Jackson.
No. I was like, where is MJ?
well, wait a minute. When did that album come out before 85? I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I
Is
don't
this
know.
is this who he's thinking about?
Maybe.
We'll have to check that out. So this movie, just to give you a short synopsis of, basically Christian Slater and the character that plays Billie Jean, they're brother and sister. They're very low income, and they basically Billie Jean is like hot stuff, right? Like she's like the girl that everyone's dreaming about.
Right.
So from the very beginning of the movie, they make her out to be this sex icon.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so much that like these guys are kind of following her around. They're giving the brother a hard time. They end up stealing her brother's scooter that
Yeah.
they're driving around on. And she goes to get the money for the damages because they get it back. And Christian Slater's character gets beat to hell by these guys. Okay. And long story short, the guy that she goes to get the money from was the bully's dad. And he's being very like creepy. I'm just gonna leave it at that, very creepy. With her, like there's stuff in this movie that you cannot get away with today. Okay. Especially with like the age ranges and all that stuff. So anyway, um, basically, what happens during that scene, it's at the very beginning of the movie. Christian Slater goes in to get money from the register, and because they own a store, pulls out a gun that's in the register. The guy comes down with Billie Jean. She's like, "Oh, we got to get out of here." And then the guy says, "Oh, you think I keep a loaded gun in the register?" Christian Slater ends up shooting the guy. And then these guys, all like the friends of Billie Jean, the brother, and them, they all go running. So the whole
Right. They're
movie
on the
is them
run.
on
Yeah.
the run.
Right.
And again, long story short, they end up becoming celebrities, basically. They basically try to fight the good fight, and they're like, we're innocent. And they become these iconic characters, and they're signing autographs and doing all this stuff. Sorry that I'm frozen, but we're gonna move on. And I feel like it's also a 90-minute movie that promotes the song Invincible,
Okay.
that classic song. So anyway, that's the movie. I liked it. I watched it today actually. Um,
Fair enough.
I'm giving it a B.
All you give it a B. Never seen it. Never even heard of it.
I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but not as much as like Teen Wolf and all those ones.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. But I would check it out, guys. Sorry to ramble about that. I just really enjoyed it. Okay. One more and then one really quick one. Weird Science. You guys
Weird
see
science.
It's a great one.
it is a great one.
Definitely
Keith, you
wouldn't get
want to
away with
take
it
it?
nowadays, but
No.
they use their computer to make themselves their dream girl. Two
It's true.
teenagers. That's that's the whole premise, and then they party away.
I mean,
Can't
it's
get
true.
any
I
better
don't
than
know
that, right?
how else to
That's
explain it,
it.
right?
Yeah. They
I
turn
think it's
their brother into like this little alien guy.
yeah, a little troll thing. It's a
Yeah.
class. It's another
It's a
classic
classic.
one, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what do we rate? I mean, there's no other explanation for this movie. So what do we rate it?
I would probably say A. I would probably
Looking at
watch
the
it
list, yeah,
over the
I,
B's. Yeah,
I'd say A.
I am in agreement with you guys, which is
great movie.
an A, an A, all the way. Okay, the last movie. I know we did 20, but I had to add this movie in. Russ, do you know why?
Because Jay always talks about this darn movie on the podcast.
I could
I
not
haven't
leave
seen it.
this out. I could not leave this out in good faith, knowing that Jay. I'm wondering if our voicemail today is about Cat's Eye. I'm just wondering. I did watch the trailer. I have not seen this movie. Did you watch the trailer, Russ?
Yeah, I watched the trailer of it.
Okay. So what did you think on the trailer?
It's got this weird quirks in it. Like I feel like the way Jay described it, the trailer's slightly different, but
Yeah, so I agree with you because I found out that it was Stephen King's first screenplay adaptation. And it compiles 3 stories. So it is not like a full movie, I guess, but it is 3 separate stories within the feature length of the movie.
Gotcha.
That being said, I'm not really a huge fan of Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
Maybe like the only difference, like the only movie that I would consider would be It, or yeah, I think It, right? Because that's a Stephen King movie.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, I think for me, I'm sorry, Jay. I'm going D.
Ooh, that low.
I'm
I want to
sorry,
hear
Jay.
what
I'm
Jay rates
sorry.
it.
I'm
I think
sorry.
if Jay
I'm
is
so
listening,
sorry.
I think he needs to call in and tell us what this should be rated.
He may have already called in. We
And we
will
do have
find
a
out soon.
voicemail from
We
him,
do
I
have a
will say.
voicemail.
I don't know if it's pertaining to
I think
that.
we better hear it then.
Did you guys watch, or so Russ, you watched the
I
trailer.
saw the trailer. I didn't see the
Have
movie.
you
I did
seen
not
the
watch the
trailer
trailer
with
for
him?
this one. I did
You
not
did
watch
not.
it. This
Okay,
is
so
one I
what,
missed.
Russ, based on the trailer, what did you think?
I'd probably go C
Okay.
with it. I feel like it's good for a watch. It's probably got
Okay.
some moments in it.
Okay. So I'm going to graciously put it in C for the sole reason that I know Jay would rate this higher. So I'm gonna bow down to Jay here, and I'm gonna say, Jay, this is all you. He's probably giving it an S tier. I'm guessing. I don't know. But guys, there's our list. What do you guys think?
See if you could zoom in on your computer screen there, Dave. I think so. We'll
Can
pull
I?
it up. Yeah, see if you could. It
I
should make it big. I don't know.
I can't. Oh, there
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Look
There
at
you go.
that. And
Just
then
go
let's
scroll.
move it in here. Look
Perfect.
at
There's our
that.
list.
There we go.
So we
So
got
our
3 S
list.
tiers.
I like
They all
that
deserve to be
list.
S
I'm not
tiers.
gonna lie. I think
Yep.
that list is pretty good.
Ewoks definitely deserves to be a D.
The poor Ewoks. Now I
I
wonder how would that hold up against the Star Wars Holiday Special?
I would watch the
I think it
Star
would
Wars
win it.
Holiday Special first.
No. I do think that the first Ewoks movie was better. I do have
Yes.
more nostalgia to
Yes.
the Ewok
Some of the
adventure.
story in Adventure or Battle of Endor is just bad.
Well, because the adventure is about like a brother and sister. Is that correct? Is that who they are?
Yeah, it's about a family that I think crash lands on Endor or something like that. This is like direct sequel. And then there's
Yeah, and
some.
the Ewoks
I'm not
take
going to
care of
spoil it.
them.
If you want to watch it, watch it. I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah.
Guys, it's a Star Wars movie. I mean,
Mhm.
if you like
And you said
space, if you like Ewoks,
we've
go
got a
and do it.
voicemail?
Well, we do have 3 comments I want to get to
All
about
right.
80s movies kind of in general, so we'll see what they had to say.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
All right, we had one over on our YouTube community page from Colby, Persian Splurge Thrifting. He says 80 movies are some of my all-time favorites. 1985 was a great year. Some bangers came out like The Goonies, Weird Science, Teen Wolf, The Breakfast Club, and of course, Back to the Future. Some real hidden gems though in the class of 85. And we're definitely not obscure, but often forgotten about. We got Porky's Revenge, Summer Rental, The Sure Thing, Witness, St. Elmo's Fire, Brewster's Millions, Cocoon, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Ewoks Battle for Endor, and National Lampoon's European Vacation. So we did mention some of those Colby on there. Some of these I haven't even heard of either. Summer Rental, never heard of that, or Witness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never heard of those either.
I want to say I did have the wrong. There we go. There's Colby's wrong thing up on screen where we're looking. And then we had 2 on our Instagram. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so we got an Instagram. Tom Ryan says, all I'm going to say is, great Scott. Classic. Ty coming in, Ty's Gaming and Collections. 1985 was definitely a great year, especially since it was the year I was born.
Mm.
I didn't get to watch these movies on release. I think my 2 favorite movies that I watched much later on during 85 would be Goonies and National Lampoon's European Vacation. So he enjoyed that one as well. And we got Mike said, I had Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday 13th, Part 4,
the final
Mm.
chapter, and Toxic Avenger. A reboot is coming in August of this year. 1985 had House, Demons, and Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Like I said, there were a lot of movies that were on this list that I had to cut. There's so many movies. And Russ, speaking of which, look what came in the mail.
Oh, mine came in too. We got
This is an 8-bit soundtrack of Friday the 13th from Shapeshift Records.
and it's got
Check it
like
out.
the teals and purple pinks like
Yeah,
viewing it. I haven't played it yet, but it came in the mail, so
very
excellent.
cool. Is that all
Sweet.
of them?
Yeah, that was all the comments there. I mean, certainly
Great.
again, great movies. Again, these are our personal opinions on the movies, and some of them we didn't get to fully see, so we can add it
Mhm.
to our list to maybe check out in the future. There were some on the list that we had to take off, so maybe we can do a follow-up one, or maybe movies that came out in a different year. So if you guys enjoyed the tier list like this, there's certainly more to come in the future. Certainly love putting these together. All right, we got some voicemails to get to. If you guys want to call into the show, you certainly could do so. We have a phone number. If I could find it, can I find it? Span this. Here we go. It is 949-682-9277. That's 949-682 warp. If you guys can't remember it, just remember theweeklywarpipe.com. It's got all the information on there so you guys can contact us.
I keep dreaming about my dream phone.
It's for you.
What's up, Weekly Warp Pipe? It's your boy, NES Addict. I was calling because the weekly rental, Castlevania Adventure.
Okay.
I played it on the Switch, and I played it on the Game Boy. It's one of the very few Game Boy games I own. I think I own 4. Metroid, that, and I don't even know what the other 2 are. I have got to say, as long as I can remember, I've never been a fan of the original pea soup green Game Boy. And that's still the same to this day. So I do not personally find Castlevania Adventure to be very fun. I find it to be slow and clunky. I just saw Mega Dan 29 do the playthrough the other day.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I do not like many Game Boy games, if any. I really want to like Return of Samus, but I also don't like it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. That game's hot garbage. For anyone who likes it, congrats to you. I wish I could. All right, guys, have a great week. Catch you next week.
And he did
Excellent.
not mention Cat's Eye.
No, maybe he didn't catch we were talking about the movies post on that.
Yeah.
But
All
hey,
good.
appreciate you calling in, Jay. We got one more.
What is going on, everyone? D-Nick55 here, calling in again. Favorite 80s movie. Gonna take you back in time.
Okay.
Hopefully that's a hint. You gotta go with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
To this day, I will go on and argue anyone. Michael J. Fox has never made a bad movie in his life. Back to the Future is one of the best. Also, I can't narrow it down to just one. Field of Dreams, If You Build It, They Will Come. Legendary, James Earl Jones. It was just such a magical point. And then Major League, the baseball comedy Major League. 3 great 80s movies. Those things were on my VHS constantly. I wasn't allowed to watch Major League, but I snuck it in the house, just like a lot of 80s teens did. All right. Until next time, guys, this is D-Nick55 saying see you later.
Excellent. Thanks for calling in.
Nice. Very cool.
Sweet. Good 80s movies for sure. And I
Yep.
guess if you like Castlevania, Jay just can't get into it, fortunately.
No. So, are we doing okay over there, Keith?
I have lost audio. I can hear you.
You can hear us though.
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're coming through my speaker now.
Oh, we can hear you. Okay, so we're good to go. We'll move on.
Fair enough. Nice.
Okay, guys, we're getting into the Wheel of Doom. Roll it.
All right, guys. So this is our Wheel of Doom segment. Basically, we got a bunch of topics on this wheel right here. and we are going to spin it, and whatever it lands on, we're doing like a 10-minute round table discussion on it. Try to put some castle. So the first what's this Castlevania? Try to put some controversial topics on here to get the pot stirring. Let's shuffle these entries up, give it a whirl. See what we got this week. Oh, it almost landed on the Castlevania one too. We got, was the N64 controller genius or the worst design ever? Dun dun dun.
Why do I
It
keep
looks like
freezing?
it looks like a trident, right? I guess that's the big. Everyone's like, how are you supposed to hold this controller? I wish I had
Right.
one handy to whip out. Who's got
Yeah.
an N64 controller?
I do not, because I don't own an N64. And I think it's because I feel like the N64 controller is
There you go.
trash.
There it is.
Look at that
Tell
unit
us
right
about
there.
it, Keith.
I don't know why they went this direction. I know they were trying to be innovative all the time. It's got those 2 handles on the outside with a handle on
Right.
the inside. Why they didn't just put this little joystick somewhere I could operate it instead of having to hold like this and then press these buttons and miss buttons? I don't know. I think it's a swing and a miss, in my opinion. It works, but it's not. There's better versions that you could use, I think.
And what's funny is I've gotten new. I think it's Retro Fighters put out a new version, and it basically just looks like a modern controller, where you got your thumbstick, where it would normally be now. I guess that was just Nintendo being Nintendo, right? Kind of
Mhm.
trying to come out with something wild. I mean, I guess it got people talking, right? Be like, oh my God, did you see the controller for the N64? What's the N64? Maybe that was part of their marketing where it's like, let's just go with it. I can see some inspiration. If you guys did catch last week's Wheel of Doom, we discussed the Virtual Boy. And the Virtual Boy controller, very similar in shape, and it had two D pads where you would hold here. So them going to the N64 controller, which came out months after the Virtual
Mhm.
Boy, almost similar design, right? They just added that weird trident like thing going on.
I mean, for me also as a kid growing up, I'm a little guy. I'm only like 5, 6.5. I felt like I had little hands, and that was a big controller, right? And like I had mentioned last week, I don't have a ton of coordination in my left hand here. So for me to kind of like move my hand around and do all that stuff, I that's why I was never into N64. I never got into it because of the controller. So I'm not a
Fair enough.
fan. I'm not a fan.
I will say so the question is, was the N64 controller genius or worst design ever? I will say they hit the mark with coming out with different color controllers of
Yeah.
these controllers.
Mhm.
That was marketing genius for sure because you wanted to buy more than one. You're like, okay, it came with a gray one. Wait, there's a black one? You could get a clear green one and a clear
Mhm.
orange one. Like that made you kind of want to seek it out more, be a little bit more unique as a gamer. You're like, oh, you go over to your friend's house. Oh, you got a purple one? You got a dolphin blue one or whatever the heck the colors were. Watermelon red. So I feel like they definitely hit the mark with that, and for good marketing purposes, got kids talking. Oh, did you
Mhm.
see the color of this? Like rather than them talking about the bad design, right, of it.
Yeah.
They probably, I don't know, as kids growing up, probably weren't complaining about the design. It was different, yeah,
Mhm.
compared to PlayStation 2 would be. I'm trying to think
Right.
compare when
The f
when it came out.
Yeah.
But
The well, s Go ahead.
I will say with David's argument, he said, it being so big, I don't know where the timeline is, but the original Xbox controller it's actually called the Duke. It's huge. So compare that to an N64 controller, I feel like about on par. Although the
Yeah, I think
placement of the thumbsticks were better.
right. I think moving your hand around to it, like, based on the gameplay of it all, and I know N64 was, um, they were pushing the 3D elements, right? So you needed to kind of have something to turn your cameras and stuff like that. Um, I never played the original Xbox. Was the N64 controller the first one with a joystick? Like it
Ooh,
in time.
good call. Yeah, with like an analog stick, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, besides Atari and all that stuff,
I feel like it might have been.
Yeah, because the first PlayStation did not have it, and didn't they release the Virtual Boy because we talked about this because they wanted to compete with something in between for PlayStation and Xbox coming out? So I'm wondering if they created that controller and that was the first kind of joystick, and maybe PlayStation and Xbox got it from Nintendo.
Well, I mean, you did get the DualShock on the PS1 later on, right? They added the little
Okay,
nubs with
they
that.
did.
So you had that when PS2 came out. That was standard to have on
Okay.
that.
Was that post N64 then?
That I don't know offhand. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a thinker. Is did Nintendo kind of originate or bring back the joystick?
right.
So that's kind of innovative in itself. I I'll give Nintendo credit for that. I think it's just the layout of the design and also catering it towards kids who probably have smaller hands than most people, you know? Well, all people, I should say,
All people.
you know? So I don't think that it was I mean, if you're talking about it missed the mark, right? But it is still pushing the envelope, so it's sort of genius, but didn't really pan out too well.
I'm bringing up my video. I actually turned one into a shifter knob. I'm like, better shifter knob than controller? Maybe, because it's so massive. So,
Got the rumble pack in there.
right. If you guys want to check that video out, just put in N64 shifter Russ Lyman. Um, actually worked out pretty good as a shifter, I'd say.
Not too bad.
I used it that way, like holding it like where the thumbstick would be or gripping it at the top. I feel like you had more room there for it.
So what do you
But
think, Keith?
Was it good or bad? I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite controller. I don't know if
No,
that's the direction I would have went with it. It's probably not the worst controller out there, but it's definitely not the best.
so it
you in
doesn't,
agreement?
yeah, it doesn't get the tier, I think, as worst controller, whether it was genius design, controller genius. I don't know. We're touching on, maybe because of it had the analog stick on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely leaning towards some innovation for sure. And it got people talking about it, the colors and all that. So I know people like the rag on it, but I think we're all in agreement. It probably wasn't the worst controller of all
No,
time.
I mean, we're still
definitely not.
talking about it 30 years later.
Right.
So there you go.
There you go. Sweet. All right, we're wrapping this baby up. Dave, what do we got for next week's Warp Pipe rental?
So as a reminder, guys, this week we're gonna switch gears a little bit and we're gonna do a rental of a movie. So you get to take a break from the games for this weekend, go out, rent whatever you need to do, watch The Wizard with Fred Savage
Certainly a classic one for sure. Yeah.
and
Excited to
Christian
dive into that.
Slater and Jenny Lewis
Yep.
and what's the other guy's name? Bo Bridges.
Yeah.
A lot of good people in there.
Sweet. And then if you guys are tuning in next week, our topic is going to be what is the end game to collecting? Going to be diving into that for next week's Warp Pipe. And if we want to check out our individual stuff that we have going on, Keith, where can we find you?
Check me out on YouTube, Retro Car Collector, also on Instagram, Retro Car Collector. There's right there.
Nice. Yeah. Check out his videos. Give him a subscribe. Dave, what do you got going on?
So right now, I mean, I'm still doing the Instagram thing, David.Apuzzo over here. Just put a period in front of there. And you could also look me up on YouTube. I'm trying to do more stuff with there. There it is, Dave, it's me. I tried looking up myself for David Apuzzo. It did not pop up. So guys, look up Dave, it's me. Or at David Apuzzo. I got to figure it out. Still learning
Probably
this
the
YouTube thing.
probably the easiest thing if you go to the weeklywarpipe.com
and scroll all the way down, I do have our channels listed right there, and they should be in the description of all our videos. Check out Russ Lyman on YouTube. I got new Nintendo coming out this week where I check out the game Snake Rattle and Roll. Should be a fun one for sure. And I'll be working on some other new videos. I'm restoring a Pac-Man arcade cabinet. And I got some stuff ordered in from 8-Bit Dough where you can make your own wireless SNES and NES controllers. So I'm going to be diving into that with using a stock controller. I'm pretty hyped on that one. So subscribe on there if you're not already. Be sure to check out the weekly warpipe.com. We have all the awesome good stuff on there. We'll be getting some new merch up, like these sweet hats if you want to purchase a hat, all the good stuff. So appreciate you guys doing that. And as always, guys, appreciate you jumping in the warp pipe with us. And we'll see you on the next level.